Hello YouTube, it's Hailquin from the Dark Artisan channel today. We've got a battle. We are at Warhammer World. We've come down today. There's a big myriad troop of us, and it's the Eldar of Ultramarines World versus Graham's Ultramarines. The Sicarian is back as well. It's nice to see that back on the channel as well. And you'll notice that there is no Wraith Knight. The Eldar, in their arrogance perhaps, have deemed this foe not worthy to unleash their ancient war construct. So currently, we're all deployed. We're playing Maelstrom, so we're using 3 objectives each. Currently, I have the first turn, as Graham elected me to go first. So, what's in the list? Very quickly. So my Warlord is right over here. There's a Farseer on a jet bike. There's an upgrade of a Warlock, some jet bikes there as well. There's 1 Shuriken Cannon. Another group exactly the same over here, just with a Shuriken Cannon. 3, 2 Warwalkers with Scatter Lasers, Star Cannons, Avatar. 3 Viper jet bikes with dual Shuriken Cannons. Then we also have the Wave Serpentine with Fire Dragons in it. Fire Dragon has Exarch and Fire Pike. We have these guys who are waiting to be deployed in infiltration. The Exarch there has the Scorpion's Claw and Chainsword. We have another Wave Serpent over here which belongs to them, but the Scorpions are no longer in it. We have some Warp Spiders with Exarch with dual spinners, and we have the dreaded Dark Reapers with a fantastic view over the board at the moment, just hunkering these tree lines, accompanied by their Warp Spider brethren. So with a fantastic view of the field at the moment, that chapel in the middle, the Eldar objectives marked by the stones, the ancient stones of their long lost ancestors before the fall. So on Graham's army, he has Chief Librarian Tigirus, accompanied by 3 Grav Centurions. We've got the Land Raider Crusader. There's a Rhino with some Tactical Marines in with a Melter. And then we also have the Sicarian, the dreaded Sicarian. Awesome Forge World model. We have two squads of, A squads, sorry, of Tactical Marines broken down. There's one there. And then just moving around, just hunkering near the ruined chapel there. We have another Rhino here with the Tactical Squad that has a Grav. And of course we have the Ironclad Dreadnought as well. In my reserves, the Crimson Hunter is scouring over the skies at the moment, just watching over the battlefield, ready for the time for his deployment. So, will the Avatar call to war his brethren and go first? Or will Chief Librarian Tigirus outwit him? So, we are seizing the initiative. Let's see if you can see, sir. Okay, on a 3, they do not. So it will be Eldar, turn 1. Okay, the plan has been set. These are the cards. So secure objective 6, ascendancy, and no prisoners. So very quickly, moving over here, we have some Scorpions which have infiltrated right deep down into the crypts of this building here. And they're right next to secure for objective 4. Now I know we haven't got this card yet, but it means they can jump out and cause some havoc later. So objective 6, right near the Avatar, the Warwalkers. So I think we'll end up going straight for that straight away. As for ascendancy, well, we'll take that. We'll have a go at taking that one. And round here, we have objective 1, which at a push, this will be able to take that. Or perhaps the jet pikes, who knows. No prisoners. Well, we're going to have to bear our guns to bear against the lines, start opening up some tanks maybe. Hopefully we'll get a lucky shot. Let's see what the Farseer and the Avatar can muster together. Back in a moment. Right, the Farseer has enacted his plan. He's foreseen the doom of the Space Marines. So we've moved forward. Wave Serpents move forward to take this objective over here. backed up by the Warp Spiders, who got 13 on their jump. Dark Reaper's got a 4th and move through cover just so they can keep nice and safe for the time being until some more targets open up. The Wave Serpents come screaming forward with the Fire Dragons in, with a nice view through this old ruin here. Being very, very aggressive with the Eldar today. Backed up by the 3 Vipers, just giving them a little bit more firepower and protection, some more targets for the Marines. The jet bikes down here are just staying nice and pretty, just with a nice little view looking up through the trees. Warwalkers have moved forward to secure Objective 6 and also one of the objectives for Ascendancy, backed up by the Avatar, who's raging, ready to go to war against the enemies of the ancient Eldar. And Farseer Tal'Rien with his Warlock and the 3 jet bikes. You can just see the shapes of his aspect. Scorpion warriors hiding in this over here, who will be taking this objective. Just looking foreboding there with the Ironclad Dreadnought. The Farseer has opened his minds to the warp and started casting some powers. Quite a successful phase. We rolled a 6, as you'd seen. So we have cast. The Warwalkers have prescience on them. Should be quite nice because we're hoping to start popping some tanks open. Maybe it's that Rhino. Hopefully if we can get rid of that, it'll give us a point towards no prisoners. The Farseer himself is well protected. He has precognition, so he can re-roll his failed saves, hits and wounds. And also, the Warlock Bodyguard, who's joined him, has also backed himself up as well by casting Conceal. So, with the Shrouding, should give some protection from the tanks, which no doubt will be ready to open fire once it is Graham's turn. So as the force musters, its guns heating up, locking onto targets to the enemies of the Imperium, to the armies of the Imperium. We hope to light them up, take some out, and let's see what damage we can do. Okay, the Eldar have unleashed their guns to bear on the Imperium. So with the prescient Warwalkers, gave me first blood and took out the tank. The Rhino exploded, and then contributing, the Vipers targeted the remaining passengers which got out. So that's 2 units killed in first blood. The Wave Serpent here targeted Tigiris' squad, pumped everything and disengaged his shield, so he is going to be jinking his life out on next turn. Although he has got cover from this ruin at the moment. Took 1 wound off Tigiris. So Tigiris has been hit, but he is far from out of the fight. Over this side, the Wave Serpent over this side targeted the same squad and did nothing. He's still got his shield up and running, which is fine with it. Still has a nice view, but them Grav Centurions are looking quite mean over this side. The 3 of the Dark Reapers here, with a view through the woodland area, took out the 2nd Rhino, which you can see flipped over on its side there, wrecked it. Guys are all okay inside, so they're absolutely fine. So as we come to a close, we just have a couple of assault moves to do, and then we will roll on to see what the Wrath of the Imperium can do against the Children of the Stars. Okay, so with the look, using the scheme, just looking through the possible futures, Farseer has just done a couple of assault jumps, just protecting himself from the firepower that could potentially come in from that Dreadnought, so keeping them nice and safe. And moving across, the Warp Spiders have assault jumped and just tucked themselves in a little bit further, just so they can get protection from their Wave Serpents. And as we move on, that is the end of Eldar turn 1. So points scored. We have secure objective 6, which has been held by the Warwalkers over here. We have first blood for destroying that. We also have ascendancy, because we are controlling 3. We're controlling this one over here, this one over here, and the Scorpions using their stealth and shrouded, staying nice and out the way, holding that one as well. So we'll roll a d3 for that. So we get 2. And we also have no prisoners. So we did take out 1 tank, 2 tanks, and the unit inside. So that is another d3. So we get 3 for that. So 3, 2, that's 5, and 6 for first blood, and also another 1 for securing objective 6. So the Eldar are steaming ahead on 7 points. Okay, so we're at the top of Graham's turn 1. So he's gotten secure objective 6, which currently, as you'll know, I am holding way over there. So he's going to have to do something to take that out. Then we have secure objective 3 and secure objective 1. So secure objective 3 is hiding in this over here. So he's definitely got that by moving forward with the Centurions and the tactical squad as well. Secure objective 1, however, quite comfortably, it is in the distance over here, right in the middle of nowhere. So as you can see as well, Land Raiders pulled forward. The Terminator with his chaplains have jumped out, ready to unleash hell upon this Wave Serpent. I think the Wave Serpent will have to definitely move before they can charge on their next turn. These guys have just shifted around with a look on this Wave Serpent as well. And as I said earlier, these grav weapons looking down upon the Wave Serpent that does not have its shield. Now it is quite difficult, but they do have melters as well. And the Sicarian war machine has not moved. Looking straight up at the Avatar, the Warwalker, what will he choose? So as the flames die out of the tank, a second tactical squad just pulls forward, cover of the mist, wanting to wreak vengeance upon the Eldar, backed up by one of their old ancient brethren that is now encased upon the sarcophagus of the Dreadnought, who's currently holding this objective as well. So as we go on, we will go on to the psychic phase, and Graham will see how much warp charge he currently has. So 5 warp charge. So he will add that to that as well because of Tigris, and then we will come back once the psychic phase is all done. Okay, so the wrath of the Imperium has been felt by the Eldar. So first of all, psychic powers very quickly. The Centurion squad with Tigris had prescience, precognition, and forewarning, so they now have a 4+ invulnerable as well. They're going to be hard to shift, especially with that 2+ save as well. So they've opened up, and they've shot, and they've wrecked the Wave Serpent. Fire Dragons got out, absolutely fine, but then some firepower came over from this squad here, and the Land Raider using Machine of the Spirit, Spirit of the Machine, shot through, took one out. The Terminators have jumped out. No fire from them. The Sicarian, however, fired everything it could down at the Warwalkers. It could only reduce down to 1, and they do have Spirit Stones, so they're absolutely fine because the result was shaken. Now the Dreadnought shot through to the Scorpions deep in there, but with their shrouded and stealth and all their shenanigans, absolutely fine. So as a result, they don't think there's any assaults to set off. So we will be come back at the end of Ultramarines turn 1. Right, so the Eldar have suffered another defeat because the Terminators have run in with the Legion, and the leader is smashed straight into this Wave Serpent and wrecked straight away. Luckily there was nothing inside of it, because that is the Scorpions transport. So they are over on the other side. The Warp Spiders are fine, so they're going to be making a quick getaway, or maybe's not. Maybe they'll take some shots and get away, who knows. But as it currently stands, the points at that are 8-1 to the Eldar. So we move on, and we come and see what reserves that the Eldar will bring forth. Catch you in a bit. Right, so the Eldar's turn 2. We have drawn Blood and Guts behind enemy lines and Scour the Skies. Now, Graham does have a Storm Talon, so we can easily get that, but not quite yet because it's not on the board yet. So, what are we going to do? So, Blood and Guts. Perhaps the Scorpions might make their move. Hopefully get a decent charge. It's a bit of a stretch, but they may be able to get there. As for behind enemy lines, it'd be a bit risky, but we could move the jet bikes around. We may not necessarily get this particular turn. We do need to take out some of their firepower, and this Terminator squad's going to be a bit of a problem. Although I suppose we can ignore it and move out the way. So, that is the cards. We will, Eldar once again, will look to see the possible futures, see what's going to be the best manoeuvres for them. So we will come back once the Eldar have redeployed, and then we will move on to see what's next. Okay, so the Eldar battle plan is coming to focus. So the Fire Dragons have moved forward to hopefully get a beeline on this Land Raider and blow it up. Might take some battle focus to get in melter range, but we'll see what we can do. Just to back them up, we'll pull the Vipers around. Maybe get some shots on the Terminators. Maybe get some shots on there. With the amount of cover and the amount of invulnerable saves on there, I think we're going to abandon that for the time being. The Warp Spider's got an amazing 15-inch jump, so they jump right over here, right to there to maybe support the Vipers against the Terminators. Dark Reapers are pulled out of cover to maybe get a nice beeline. Maybe on the front of the Land Raider, or depending on range, the side armour of that Sicarian. So we will see what they can do for that. The Crimson Hunter Exarch, however, on reserve, has screamed straight on, vector danced, and has a nice line at either the Sicarian or the Dreadnought. Maybe some armour piece and rounds can go through and wreck them. The Sea Council, well, I call them Sea Council, but they're not one. But the Farseer, with his Warlock and his jet bikes, have pulled round. See what support they can do. Maybe shoot some of them. Depending on what happens with that Sicarian, we may have to pull back and see what happens. The Avatar is just pulled forward. He'll be looking to get running up there through the board. Backed up by the Warwalkers, who are nice where they are. Maybe he's got some more shots against that Sicarian there. And the jet bikes have come speeding past, just in case we get any objective cards for the future. Maybe he's do a flanking manoeuvre as well, but we will see what we can do. So we'll move quickly on to the Eldar Psychic phase. So the dice that we've just rolled is 5 to the Warp Charge, so we will have 9 to play with. Right, we're back after the Eldar's turn, shooting 2. And the Psychic phase, very quickly Psychic phase, we did Prescience on the Warwalkers. We did Precognition on his own unit as well. We did take the Perils, where we did lose a poet. Now we did lose Precognition, but we did dispel the wound by using the Ghost Helm. So that everybody's shifted forward. Absolutely overwhelming firepower turn today. Bit of a shame it wasn't the actual card that we drew. So what did we do? So as you can see, the Land Raider has been blew up. Their job, as always, Fire Dragons. 3 penetrating hits, blew it from the board. The Dark Reapers took some pot shots, but the Terminators did no damage. The Warp Spiders took 1 out of the Thunderhammer ones, which is impressive. The Crimson Hunter shot down all the way over here, took out the Dreadnought. Amazing firepower from there, but the best firepower, of course, came from my trusty Warwalkers. Prescienced, shot straight to the Sicarian, managed to get 3 penetrating hits, and got an explodes result. So Sicarian is burning of flames. The Adeptus Astartes are not amused. And the Eldar, as overconfident as ever, or perhaps arrogance, are laughing at the armies of the Imperium. The fact that they did not need to bring their ancient war construct, the Wraith Knight, they're very confident. But is it starting to tip into the point where they're starting to be overconfident? We will see. So we're going on to the assault phase now, and then we will come back and see if we have done any further damage. Just quickly back after the Eldar's assault phase, just a couple of adjustment moves. The Warp Spiders have just shifted over. The bikes have adjusted themselves as well. Apart from that, the scores are still 8-1 to the Eldar. We have still got Blood and Guts and Behind Enemy Lines and Scout the Skies. We are going to keep them. We are just going to see what happens next. But as we come back to see what the armies of the Emperor can do, stay tuned. Okay, so we're just back after Graham's turn 2, his movement. So as you can tell, the Storm Talon has come on. It's come screeching on, probably looking to do a strafe and run against the Farseer. Over the Moon that I managed to get precognition on, so they should hopefully take a little bit more power. The Space Marines have just moved forward, looking to get a couple of shots against the Scorpions. Some of them are out of cover, some of them are in cover. Just a couple of shuffling. The Centurions have got a commanding view of the field now. Did pass dangerous terrain, got a 6-inch move through cover as well, which is very, very nice for Graham at this point in the game. The Marines have just moved forward, probably looking to get a couple of shots and a charge off perhaps. Over here the Terminators are looking to perhaps make a charge against the Warp Spiders. So apart from that, cards that Graham got, he did get Psychological Warfare. He also got Secure Objective 3 and Secure Objective 1. So Secure Objective 1's right here. So the Terminators, although they can perhaps get a charge off against these, more than likely he's going to go and take that because for the much needed points that he needs. And of course Secure Objective 3, well, that's pretty much in the bag, seeing as though it's in this little ruin over here. So we'll come back after the Psychic phase. Graham has already rolled, he did get 6, so a lot of Psychic dice for him today. Let's see if we can stop some of these more important powers, so we'll catch you in a moment. Okay, so we're back after the Psychic and shooting for the Space Marines of the Ultramarines chapter. So Psychic phase, the Grav Centurions have forewarning, give them protection. I elected not to stop it because they are going to be too tough of a cookie to move. So moving across, Storm Talon unleashed a lot of fire down here. Because of precognition, I was getting me re-rolling my saves and only lost 1, so they're still fine. Just moving over to this side, we took a lot of firepower from the Centurions, re-rolling his wounds for the Grab Amp. We're left with 1 Viper jetbike. He is on full hull points, so he is absolutely fine with his hull points all intact. Firepower came over from this small squad over here, did no damage, caused 1 wound, but we survived. And then we're moving on to the assault phase. We do look as though that this chaplain is going to charge into these. So we might as well roll to see what the charge distance would be on camera. We reckon we need at least a 5-inch charge. So we will roll to see what that's going to be now. Yep. A 6, 7, 8. Yep, it's definitely going to be in. So we're going to see a lot of damage here. Graham was very clever. Didn't fire his Storm Bolter at the Warp Spiders, otherwise I'd have just flicker jumped out the way. So we'll get this combat all sorted and resolved, and then we'll come back after the assault phase is complete. Right, we're back after a brutal combat. As you can expect, the Terminators absolutely annihilated the Warp Spiders. They did put up as much of a fight as possible, did kill one, but as you can expect, the Terminators swung their hammers and the Lightning Claws, backed up by the Faith, restored from their chaplain, absolutely annihilated, and he has consolidated onto Secure Objective 1. That will give Graham a much needed point. Apart from that, the other point is secured by the tactical squad over here. So as it stands, current scores are still 8-3 to the Eldar. So the Space Marines will need to pull back some much needed points, but it is going over to Eldar's turn 3. What can we do and what cards will we pull out? Let's just see what we can do. Right, so we're back at the beginning of Eldar turn 3. Cards we've still got Blood and Guts. I've elected to get rid of Behind Enemy Lines. In the place I've got Witch Hunter, and also still have Scour the Skies. So it looks like that Storm Talon. Crimson Hunter Exarch has his eyes on it. So we'll come back after we've moved the forces, see where the Eldar plan lies. Right, we're just back after the Eldar movement phase. So the Crimson Hunter Exarch is vector danced and pulled down, looking to get a BDI on that Talon, hopefully to score us Scour the Skies. The Avatar, as well as the War Walkers backing them up, are just coming down here, looking to hopefully start moving on. The Striking Scorpions have moved out of cover, looking to get some shots off and hopefully an assault against them. These have just pulled round, looking to maybe go for line breaker. The Warlord, with his retinue, are just coming, hopefully with some psychic power support. They'll be able to get a couple of shots off against these guys up here. Fire Dragons have just moved across, as well as these guys and the last remaining Viper, to get as many shots off as possible against this Terminator squad, as we hopefully can need to get Witch Hunter. So we'll come back after the psychic phase. In fact, I'll roll the dice for the warp charge now. Okay, so we get 1 plus my 5. So we'll come back once the psychic powers are being cast. Okay, so we're back after the psychic and shooting phase. Psychic very quickly. We've got perfect timing to ignore the cover for these guys over here. We cast Misfortune on the Sentry Gravs. And Primaris, we cast Divination, Prescience on this guy here. So shooting, we got Scour the Skies. We blew the Talon straight up the sky as expected by the Exarch. Got a crash and burn, flew down to here, didn't do any damage on the Scorpions or the Space Marines. The Warwalkers shot up straight across at the Centurions, did no damage. They are impenetrable. These guys are absolutely fine. Avatar ran. These Fire Dragons shot, the Viper shot, and the Dark Reaper shot took all the Terminators bar the Chaplain. Now the Chaplain is on the 1 wound. So we didn't unfortunately get Witch Hunter. Now we do have an assault to set off. We are going to attempt to assault possibly the Chaplain, but we do have an assault over on here, so we will roll to see what's going to go on with that. And just one final note as well, we did turbo boost the other jet bikes just for future turns to get line breaker over that end as well. So we'll come back after the assault phase, after the combats have been resolved as well. Right, we are back after the Eldar's assault phase, and Graham has also called it as well. Brutal game. The Eldar, as arrogant as ever, have succeeded in taking out the armies of the Imperium. So the Scorpions attacked into the Space Marines as expected. The Exarch ripped him apart with his Scorpion's claw and consolidated 6 inches forward. So at the end of that round, absolute devastation all over. There's buildings on fire. There's vehicles on fire. There's chaplains with 1 wound left. He does live to fight another day. Who knows, hopefully we'll see a rematch, because he does vow vengeance. The points in that round, we got Blood and Guts, 1 point. We unfortunately did not get Witch Hunter, because there is no Psychers. But we did get Scour the Skies. So, sorry, there is a Psyker, Tigurius. We unfortunately couldn't do anything to him. Just too impenetrable of a force. But the scores at the end of the round, with Blood and Guts and Scour the Skies, that puts me on 10. With Linebreaker puts me on 11, so the Eldar 11-3. It's been an awesome game here down at Warhammer World. Like I say, tune in next time for other battle reports. And as always, you've been speaking to Stu, the Harlequin himself, on the Dark Artisan channel.